in collaborating with Indian colleagues. The joint research output of such collaborations is steadily increasing. An analysis output of such recently published by my organization, the DFG, in cooperation with the renowned Indian researcher in biometrics, Dr. B.M. Gupta, confirms that after the USA, Germany is the most productive partner in collaborative science and technology research with India, as reflected in the production of co-authored papers. In fact, nearly 13% of all Indian publications resulting from international cooperation have been shared with authors from Germany. The report also highlights the fact that overall the Indo-German scientific collaboration between 2004 and 2009 has grown at a remarkable annual average growth rate of 6.8%. And the same positive trend can be observed in the other research disciplines and subject areas, and not least the humanities and social sciences. Dr. Kalan Singh, it is therefore a great pleasure and honor for me to welcome you to our celebration today. Just 2 weeks ago, when I was in Berlin, I read the announcement of 2 documentaries about your life to be shown in the framework of Days of India in Germany. Sadly, I arrived too late for the event, and so I now look forward all the more to hearing some of your thoughts personally, and thank you very much for accepting our invitation, Dr. Singh. As the President of the Indian Council of Cultural Relations and as a globally renowned philosopher, you may be interested in the fact that the Indo-German publications in the humanities and the social sciences have substantially increased alongside those in science and technology. German Indologists like Max Müller or Gustav Roth have been highly appreciated in this country for many years. Others, like our esteemed colleague from the Heidelberg South Asia Institute and later Kiel University, Professor Hermann Kulke, were able to work on interdisciplinary endeavors like the DFG Orissa project. The Republic of India honored Professor Kulke, by the way, with the Padma Shri Award in recognition of his research work. And I'm really happy that today we have Axel Michaels here in our guest list, one of, I would say, the most prominent modern Indologists in Germany today. Ladies and gentlemen, my organization, the DFG, and other German organizations like the DART, the Humboldt Foundation, or the Max Planck Society are now funding more and more Indian and German researchers in history, sociology, yes, even in law and education research. In carrying out their projects, they are engaged in the systematic exchange of ideas for the joint benefit of both the Indian and the German research communities. Humanities and social science play an integral part for scientific research as a whole. None other than the German physicist Werner Heisenberg, Nobel laureate in 1932, emphasized their importance for knowledge creation across the entire range of disciplines when he said, and here I quote, "After the conversations about Indian philosophy, some of the ideas of quantum physics that has seemed so crazy suddenly made much more sense." At the DFG, we are committed to making funds available to increase the number of joint projects that cross disciplinary boundaries. In 2 weeks, we will, for instance, organize a joint workshop of Indian and German historians to discuss closer and more systematic collaborations. And just a few days later, we are going to sign a memorandum of understanding with the Indian Council for Social Sciences for the joint funding of projects. And these are only some examples among many. Ladies and gentlemen, the potential of our collaboration in all areas of research is very high. The awareness of this among German research institutions is evident on the ground here in India. More and more universities, more and more German research and research institutions and innovation institutions have set up offices and representations in India. So now it is high time to start with the next phase. We need to think systematically on-site about how these representatives can create synergies and collaboration with our Indian friends. I'm sure that our Indian guests here today are well aware of what I'm talking about. Let me give you just one very simple example. An Indian PhD student or postdoc who wishes to go to Germany to carry out some of his research work currently has the choice of at least 6 German research organizations represented in India to fund his visit. The DFG, the DART, the Alexander von Humboldt Foundation are the main fellowship founders for students and postdocs from abroad. The Fraunhofer Institutes, the Helmholtz Institutes and the Max Planck Institutes hire their own research staff. And so far I have not included the German universities, who also have representatives here. With multiple options available, our, by now, if I may suggest, somewhat confused Indian student just seeking for the best and easiest way of getting support for his research work may have to invest a whole semester in simply trying to understand the opportunities that Germany offers. But now, with the German House for Research and Innovation and its members as his first contact point, this investment of time can be reduced from one semester to just one telephone call or visit, either in the house itself or on the website that we are going to launch today. But networking and collaboration will be enhanced not only through the creation of a tool for harmonizing exchange and the dissemination of information. Even if this house is by no means a new funding agency, we need concrete networking opportunities as an additional motivator for researchers and funders to get together. We are very grateful to the German federal government for their support in creating these new opportunities. With the help of additional funds made available by the Foreign Office, for instance, the DWIH staff here in New Delhi have already announced a call for proposals for activities this year. I was told that we have received applications for networking activities in which the aims of the House will be reflected. Thus, in the 2 months to come, 2 DWIH lectures, 2 scientific workshops and 2 symposia are going to be funded. And after the inaugural function this morning, during the scientific part of our program this afternoon, we will showcase what we all believe in when it comes to creation of knowledge. We believe in the importance of high quality research, and we believe in the importance of the role of young researchers. After a brief series of short lectures by outstanding scientists from India and Germany, we are going to give the youngsters an opportunity to present their research to us at the Indo-German Grand Science Slam. In fact, the DWIH staff has received more than 40 proposals in all fields of research from young colleagues with an Indo-German institutional background who wanted to participate in this slam. The reviewers could only select 6 of them to compete for the 2 awards, but I can assure you that the topics sound very promising. Have you, for instance, ever considered whether a plant biologist can make a farmer smile? Or have you ever touched upon the waste that shouldn't waste? There are just 2 topics that will be addressed during the slam this afternoon at the Indo-German Mela at the Indraprastha Millennium Park. I would therefore like to invite all of you to take part in this very exciting program. And by the way, rounding off our proceedings today, the scientific part of this inauguration will be followed by an audiovisual show by the groups Blot from Delhi and Yakutsi from Berlin. If this doesn't sound promising. Dear colleagues and friends, ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you again that I'm very happy to see all of you here to celebrate with us the opening of the German House for Research and Innovation, the DWIH. And this is a real, not a virtual challenge. This is a real but not a virtual house. And I think we will have a real but not a virtual added value. I welcome you once again and wish you and all of us an interesting and exciting day. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Professor Kleiner. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Emily Haber, State Secretary, German Federal Foreign Office, has had a varied diplomatic career, serving in numerous capacities all over the world prior to becoming the State Secretary last year. May I invite Dr. Haber to please address the distinguished gathering.
Honorable Dr. Karan Singh, Secretary Ramasamy, Madam Chairman, Professor Kleiner, Professor Hacker, Ambassador Steiner, ladies and gentlemen, I'm delighted to be in Delhi today. Of course, it's always good to be in Delhi, but we have a particularly good reason today, and that is the opening of the German House for Research and Innovation. Now, Professor Kleiner has explained to us what the tasks of the German House is, what the German House will be doing, and what it is projected to do. Perhaps I, as the State Secretary of the German Foreign Office, will be permitted to frame the issue politically. Because I do agree, this German House for Research and Innovation is a first. Now, why is that? After all, our relations have constantly and steadily developed over the recent decades. But this was ultimately down to intergovernment relations. That exclusiveness is a matter of the past. And this German House for Research and Innovation is indicative of the change, even if the government has been, as you pointed out, Professor Kleiner, instrumental in setting it up, and even if a German State Secretary has the honor to be among those opening it today. But it remains a fact that today relations are shaped strongly by links between societies, by link between non-state actors. And there's a taut web of interaction far beyond government initiatives. This is not entirely a new phenomenon, but it's certainly closely tied to globalization processes and communication societies. Now, huge problems dominate our borderless world of globalization, and many of them require an interaction and response in a degree previously unknown. But globalization has also generated an awareness of shared and shareable potential for knowledge, for research. This has exploded, as trade has. Indeed, science communities, education and research institutes, where scientific and social know-how is generated, have taken the lead. And this has changed the way our countries position themselves in the globalized world of tomorrow. Ladies and gentlemen, but let's first have a look on the pillars on which our relationships rest. Now, Germany and India have much in common. We hear that all the time, but it's true. Our countries are democracies. We believe in rule of law. We believe in the primacy of international law, in social market economy. We share an understanding of the value of individual freedom. We are like-minded. This may not always lead us to draw identical conclusions when confronted with specific issues in foreign policy, in international organization, in international disputes. Geography, interests, historical experience, and political projections will also impact on the nature of the conclusions. But but we share the conviction of values. And this is hugely important to us. I believe it's a rock-solid basis for our relationship, for our partnership. And then there's the trade. Its volume is now nearing the 20 billion euro mark. Mutual investment is rising. German businesses know that India is one of the major growth markets, and they're keenly aware that in a few decades, India, along with China, will dominate a large part of the global economy. In September, the Indian government has taken decisions that will improve the conditions for foreign investment. This will give momentum to your trade. It certainly will improve, it will boost the German-Indian commercial exchange. But from the European perspective, one elephant in the room, as I would call it, remains. To date, we have not yet been able to achieve one objective that we consider a game changer for trade: to conclude the comprehensive free trade agreement between the EU and China. I know this is an issue fraught with dispute. Both India and we in Germany will have to muster a great deal of energy, a great deal of persuasiveness and of determination to get it done. But we are convinced that it would profoundly dynamize trade between India and Europe, and it would greatly generate growth and jobs on both sides. Now, ladies and gentlemen, with all the discussions about Europe's problems, don't forget this. This is a hugely prosperous, stable realm with a demography of 500 million, covering nearly 40% of the world trade, nearly 20% of its production. And given our respective demography and potential, India and Europe, the European Union, would probably be able to constitute the world's largest trading relationship. And I assure you that Germany, which is certainly a key actor in Europe, as you know, will undertake all efforts in its power to contribute to make this possible. On the political side, political practitioners, as I am one, are very much aware that the impressive growth of your country and the dynamic modernization translate into massive political clout. This is blatantly obvious in the international arena. We know that this trend will inexorably continue. Ladies and gentlemen, we see the world changing. We are becoming radically interconnected in this new global system. We see risks and challenges emerge that few had predicted 10 years or more ago. And the array of issues looming large is vast. Global conflict prevention, peacekeeping, the world's trouble spots, climate and energy policy, resource security, food and water supply, trade policy, international financial policy, environment emergency. In the world of today, we need to look to like-minded partners when trying to devise rules and mechanisms to solve or contain these risks, problems, and challenges. India will be among the countries that Germany will look to. Ladies and gentlemen, I've mentioned our substantial common ground. I've mentioned the long-standing bonds between our countries. But it's also an undisputable fact that there's only so much we know about one another. Our social, cultural, and religious realities are very diverse. But don't these differences also trigger interest and fascination in our respective societies? I think they do. This is why we decided some years back to organize the Year of Germany in India and the Indian Year of Culture in Germany. The Year of Germany in India is headed by the slogan Germany in India, Infinite Opportunities. We want to acquaint you with modern Germany, an open-minded and innovative, a dynamic European countries. And we are keenly interested in the days of India that would demonstrate the multifaceted realities and the overwhelming potential of your great country. But let me come back to the topic of today. I've pointed to education, science, and research as driving forces for change and innovation. They're also driving forces for globalization. This is why we place such importance on our cooperation in that field. In higher education and comprehensive scientific cooperation, Germany and India have developed a degree of interaction second only to one, and that is the US. Bear with me if I mention some figures. Germany is becoming one of the first ports of call for Indian students. The number of Indian students has more than tripled since 2001. The Max Biller Bhagwans are highly active in promoting German language, and more German students are opting to go to university in India to do research or to study. There are over 1,000 Indian doctoral students at German universities, and it's the biggest group, second biggest group of foreign doctoral students. And Indian researchers make up the world's third largest community of alumni of the Alexander von Humboldt Foundation. But that's not all. India is also a major partner in the Helmholtz Association of Research Centers in Hamburg and the future FAIR International Research Center in Darmstadt, the facility for antiquarian and aeon research in Europe. And we want to move further. And that is why we are here today. Now, much has already been said about the German House for Research and Innovation as the newest instrument of our research and academic relations policy. We want to take it further. We want to take it center stage in the race for innovation. We want to interact closely with our partner country. Because research and academic relations policy have become an indispensable part of German foreign policy. And in concrete terms, this means helping to set up centers of excellences for research and teaching at universities abroad, extending the network of science officers at our embassies, and expanding scholarship programs. The House epitomizes the link between science and research. Their application in the research and development departments of German businesses will provide new tools. We've housed it on the premises of the German-Indian Chamber of Commerce because we want mutually reinforcing interaction between science, research, and economy. I would like to thank the German Research Foundation, the German Academic Exchange Service, and the German-Indian Chamber of Commerce for the excellent cooperation on establishing the forum. It's a lucky coincidence today, we have heard it already, that the opening ceremony and the concomitant Indo-German Grand Science Slam, another back-end project during the year of Germany in India, are being held during the Indo-German Urban Mela, which is a flagship ensemble of mobile, modern, multifunctional pavilions. And ladies and gentlemen, this highlights the wider context that I have mentioned at the outset of my presentation. The broadening web of interaction between societies of Germany and India. Because knowledge of and interest in our respective democratic societies grow, this in turn will be a catalyst for the relations that have gone far beyond intra-government relations and contexts, and it will affect all areas of interaction: trade, development, education, research, culture. And with this in mind, I wish the German House for Research and Innovation in New Delhi every success in its work to promote Indo-German scientific cooperation. It will impact greatly on the German-Indian relationship. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Arber. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Ramasamy, Secretary in the Department of Science and Technology, Government of India, is a widely respected individual in the country and outside for his visionary views on science. Dr. Ramasamy is a distinguished technologist and has attained several recognitions in his academic and professional career. And I know that he has a very busy schedule today and will be leaving a little early, so I'd like to request him to please share his views with us. Dr. Ramasamy.